So welcome to another video of the Flexible Dieting 101 series, and in today's video we're going to talk about the nitty-gritty. What is flexible dieting? What do you need to know? Why is it different than if it fits your macros? And why is this going to be the approach that actually leads you to being able to create the perfect diet for you? And I'm going to actually teach you in this video the why behind nutrition, not exactly the what and the how. So for example, I'm not gonna tell you what to eat. I'm not gonna tell you how to eat something. I'm not gonna tell you when to eat something. I'm gonna give you the facts, so then you're gonna be able to build the perfect program for you. And that's gonna lead to ultimate sustainability. So what is flexible dieting? If I only could use one word to describe it, I'd use the word balance. And it's the why behind nutrition. It's a focus on the hierarchy of importance. So it's an approach that focuses on not only quantity, but also quality. So I'm gonna teach you in this video the importance of calories, the importance of macronutrients, how when you actually track your macros, you're tracking your calories, the importance of micronutrients, and the importance of fiber. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is calories. And it comes down to the first law of thermodynamics, which simply means energy in and energy out are what equal energy balance. So if you're taking in more calories than what you burn, you're in what's called a positive energy balance, also known as a caloric surplus. But vice versa, if you are taking in less calories than what you burn, you are in a negative energy balance, which simply means that you are at a caloric deficit. And so if you are at maintenance, AKA you're not losing weight or you're not gaining weight, you're just maintaining your weight, that's what we call energy balance. And that's also known as our maintenance level calories. So the beauty of flexible dieting is we do track our calories, which determine our energy balance, our weight loss and our weight gain, but we also focus on our macronutrients, which are our proteins, our carbs, and our fats. And the beauty of it is if we track those three, they actually track our calories as well, which is absolutely amazing because each one of those macronutrients play a unique role in the body. So first off, we have our protein, which comes from the Greek word protos, and that means the most important. And protein plays so many important roles in the body. I'm not gonna go over that, but what I need you guys to know is protein is essential for building and maintaining muscle mass. And it plays so many different roles for overall health. But also it is the most satiating macronutrient there is. So all that means is when you eat a high protein diet, you're gonna be a lot less hungry. You're gonna be nice, full, and satisfied. And each gram of protein has 4 calories per gram. So next up, we have our dietary fat. And fats are essential for hormone production in our bodies. Simply put, they are life-giving. They also play as transporters for all of our vitamins and minerals in the body. There's a lot of vitamins and minerals that we have that are fat soluble. So that means they need dietary fat to be absorbed. And they play a huge role in our overall health. And each gram of fat has 9 calories per gram. So those first 2 macronutrients are essential nutrients in the body. That just means our bodies absolutely need them. We cannot live without our protein and our dietary fat. So that leads to carbohydrates. We don't necessarily need them, but carbs do play a very, very important role in our bodies. So carbs are a quick and efficient energy source for high intensity exercise. They actually do play a large role in fueling our brain for energy and things like that. But the main thing they do is think of like your thyroid as the regulator for your metabolism. And with the absence of carbohydrates, whenever you're doing high intensity exercise, you're actually gonna run your thyroid. It's like kind of like revving your engine on in your car, and you have no fuel there to fuel it. It's just gonna burn it out, and then eventually your engine will blow. That's what happens when people run themselves into the ground without enough carbohydrate when they're doing high intensity exercise. So know that carbohydrates are there for that high intensity exercise, and they're there to stimulate your thyroid. And remember, each carbohydrate has 4 calories per gram. All right, so let's do an example of how if you track your macros, you actually track your calories. So let's say we have a female. She is 5'4" and she weighs 130 pounds. Let's say that she's taking in 1 gram per pound of protein, so 130 grams of protein, Let's say that she's taking in 200 grams of carbs and 60 grams of fat. So let's do some math on the screen. So remember, protein has 4 calories per gram. So we gotta multiply 130 grams of protein times 4, and that gives us 520 calories. So then we move on to our dietary fat. And so she's taking in 60 grams of fat. So 60 times 9, remember 9 calories per gram. So 60 times 9 is 540 calories. And so our third is our carbohydrates. So she's taking in 200 grams of carbs. So 200, remember 4 calories per gram. So 200 times 4 equals 800. And so when we add all those together, so remember our protein was 520 calories. So we add 520 for our protein. We add 540 for our fat, and then we add 800 for our carbohydrates. We add all those together, we get 1,860 calories. So when you're only tracking your calories, you're leaving so many of the benefits that each macronutrient plays. So when you optimize both, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So why wouldn't you do that? So the next thing we're gonna focus on is our dietary fiber. So we have our soluble and insoluble fiber. I do not want to get too complicated for you guys, but all I need you to know is your fiber intake is super important for optimal digestion and gut health. And so what you're gonna have is a fiber goal for the day, but remember, fiber is a carbohydrate. Fiber is part of your carbohydrate goal. So for example, if I gave you 250 grams of carbs to hit for today, and I said you need to hit 30 grams of fiber as well, remember 250 grams, 30 of those grams of carbohydrate will need to come from fiber. So that just means 220 grams of your carbs will come from non-fiber sources. So next up, I'm gonna cover our micronutrients. So remember in the beginning of this video, I talked about quantity. Now I'm gonna talk about quality. Okay, so we tackled the quantity. Just below that is the quality. And that's gonna talk about the quality of foods you put in your mouth. So I like to distinguish between clean and non-clean foods. I used to be so scared to talk about this, and I used to be in denial of it, but there are foods that are inherently clean, and there are foods that are inherently not very clean. So the foods I like to think are clean are our high quality, minimally processed, and micronutrient dense foods. These foods are foods that you wouldn't inherently think are healthy. There are green vegetables, there are fruits, are lean protein sources, all those things that actually in reality, you can use your hunger as a cue of how much calories and macronutrients are actually in them. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have our foods like our highly processed cereals, our Pop-Tarts, our cakes, our cookies, and everything like that we can very easily overeat on. Okay, so one helps you hit your macros, the other one doesn't help you hit your macros. One provides a lot more micronutrients like our vitamins and minerals, which I'll cover in a little bit. One does not. So that is the difference between the two. So that's why a little bit later on in the video, I'm gonna talk about something called the 80-20 rule, but I just need you to truly understand that there is a difference. There is a difference, and that's why 80% need to come from our high quality, clean foods, and 20% need to come from the foods that you quote unquote call are not so clean. And I'll cover this in much more detail later on, but this is the 101 course. I just need you to focus on micronutrients. Our vitamins and minerals are so important because we have buckets in our body. We have a certain amount of vitamins and minerals we need to be having. And I don't need to focus on which ones and certain amounts. I don't want to confuse you guys, but I just need you to focus on the simple fact that we each have buckets. And we just need to fill those up. But if we go over the bucket and it spills over, like if we hit our needs, you're no better off because of it. So that is the thing I want to talk about. That's what I'm going to mention about the 80-20 rule. And so that brings me to the 80-20 rule. It's a simple idea that 80% of your calories are going to come from these whole, minimally processed, micronutrient dense foods, and 20% will come from the foods that do not check off those boxes over here. And why is that important? Because these foods over here provide a lot more food volume. You can eat them and they keep you full. They provide a lot of micronutrients and they fill up those buckets. They'll get you right to the top if you hit 80%. But then you have the 20% over here. Once those buckets are full, you can fit these foods in. You're not having to worry about these foods actually keeping you full because you've already eaten your 80% here that keep you full. You don't have to worry about these as much to keep you full. And these foods will not fit as well into your macros. So if you try to go 80% with these, you're just gonna blow through your macros. So one topic I wanna cover just really quickly for you guys is there's something between acute and insidious damage. So acute just means something in the short term. So for example, if I were to eat 50-50 for probably months, 3-6 months, that still seemed to be acute. And that just means I'm eating 50% dirty, 50% clean, I'm neglecting my micronutrients, etc. But I'm still hitting my macros. What I'm more worried about is 5 to 10 years from now. That's more insidious. Insidious means small things over time adding up. That creates deficiency in our micronutrients and our minerals and everything we need that are life-giving in our body. And that is what I'm worried about. So for example, if somebody says that a sweet potato and a Pop-Tart are exactly the same, I don't believe them. I don't believe them because over time you're gonna create these deficiencies if macros are constant. So I want you guys to definitely think about that. It's long-term, it's prioritizing long-term health. I'm not worried about your macros today. I'm not worried about your macros 3 weeks from now. I'm worried about your macros 10 years from now. So I want you guys to have that mindset when you go through the rest of this course. And so the biggest thing I want you guys to focus on is like, Zach, why is it 80-20? Why isn't it 100%? For you, it can be 100%. But for most people, I don't think that's plausible. It doesn't make sense. If you go 100% clean all the time, I think you doing that is going to cause more stress than 80-20. Thus, stress is the #1 thing that's going to be killing us. And we need to monitor our stress as much as possible. So if you go 80-20 and you have less stress, then that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about your buckets just spilling over of micronutrients. I'm more worried about, is your stress going to spill over? If I can keep your cup of stress as low as possible, we're gonna help you live a long and successful life. And you're gonna be a heck of a lot more happy. You're not gonna be limited by social situations. You're gonna be able to thrive and have a nutritional program that puts you in the best position to succeed. And that's what it's all about. So I wanna thank you guys so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. I'm super blown away by you guys' support. So please leave a comment below on what else you want to see in this series. All the comments have helped so much with our direction of the course, be able to provide so much value to you guys. So if you do have a topic you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments below, because either we've already covered it and we can send you the video, or we will cover it in a future video. So thank you so much for watching. So please subscribe. We have so much more of this content coming. I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of the series. And thank you so much for watching. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video.